So today's Thursday. I think it's the 27th of September. It's about 5:30 in the morning. I've been up for an hour. And I know it's been about a week since I posted last. So what's going on? Yesterday, I had my EMDR session, and we went over a situation where it was one of the physical abuse sessions. This one was one where I was 17 and my mom had come in to my room smacking me around because she had accused me of sleeping with my boyfriend and I wasn't. And I said to her, I don't understand why you are accusing me of this when you weren't a virgin when you walked down the aisle. Hypocritical. And her response to that was to just slap me endlessly. And every time I tried to open my mouth, she just kept slapping me. Until finally, I had to forcibly push her out of my room and shut the door in her face. And so I had to leave home. And ironically, went to my boyfriend's house where I slept on the couch. And, for years, this is something that my family continues to hold over my head. Well, you ran away. You abandoned your family. And it wasn't until the EMDR session that I realized my mom never called Department of Children Family Services. She never called the police. She never even called the school the next day. That was the funny thing. I went to school the next day, prepared never to go home again, because my mom was in the middle of depression. She was smoking. She was drinking in her room every night, thinking we didn't know. And she never called anybody other than my grandma and my dad. She tried to keep it in the family. She tried to bury it like every other secret that she thinks she has. She didn't use outreach. She didn't actually try anything substantial to get me back. And probably because she knew what she did was illegal, slapping me around in anger. Because I called her out for what she really did, as opposed to what I wasn't doing, because she was in her own depression and anxiety. So I've come to terms with that. But saying that, there's a lot of grief and anguish that comes with that, because my family's held that over my head for 20 years and continues to. And so that causes a fibro flare-up, which means I'm in a lot of physical pain. I've cried a lot, which is why my face is all swollen. We went to church dinner last night, and all I kept thinking was, please, dear God, nobody touch me, because my body is on fire. I have obligations to meet today. I have to go to school. I have a test today. I have to go to school. And when you take all the pain medication you could take, and it's not enough, what do you do? And you try to put this aside, And then on top of all of that, we're supposed to go to my parents' Columbus weekend because my grandma is visiting and my uncle and his wife. So we're still going to go because I want to see my grandma, because I don't know how many more years she'll be around. I'm going for her, not going for my mom. The more I look into fixing me, the more my mother's anxiety and fear and depression and her unresolved traumas keep coming up. And one of the things I kept saying yesterday was, I want to give it back to her. Why do I have to carry that? I don't want it. It doesn't live in my head. It's her problem. And I'm angry that she has foisted that off on Dad and her entire family. And I said, when I started my trauma recovery in 2013, I apologized to my kids because I was sick, I had a disease, and while that didn't excuse my problems and my behaviors, at least I had a path to getting it fixed and getting better. That is something I will never ever get from my mother. Because in order to get that, she has to fix herself. Really fix herself. And it's just very sad that these fears and these anxieties that she has will never get really fixed. And I will continually be blamed, and my sisters will continually be blamed. It's everybody else's fault that she will live an isolated life. So I'm going to try to get through today as best I can, because I have things to do and obligations to meet. And if it was my mom suffering this pain, everybody would know about it. She would go on and on and on about it all day, about how much pain she's in, and she wouldn't even leave the house. If she left the house, she would make sure everybody knew how bad she was suffering. And I'm talking about it because this is a video diary, and this has to do with my project and abuse, and that's part of it. But I try not to do that in my day-to-day. Nobody needs to hear about that. Nobody wants to hear about that. And I live with chronic pain every day. It's just on a varying scale. It never completely goes away. It's just, today's a 9 out of 10, whereas most days it's a 3 to 5. It's frustrating when we do go and she belly aches, because I really want to look at her and go, you understand I live with chronic pain on a daily basis, right? Like, who do you think you're talking to? Go deal with it. So thanks for letting me get that out. Appreciate it. Hopefully today will go better.